Good morning, good morning, do 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 do. Good morning to you. Welcome to a daily dose of joy, where we're starting our day here together in solidarity. Solidarity with the commitment to pause, to let go of resistance, and to align with our joy all throughout the day. And we have handy tools to help us reach for that, to help us let go of our resistance and let neuroscience and the positive neurotransmitters in our brain help us to let go of the oars and let our boat pivot to run easily downstream. Today we're going to use Whoopsie Daisy Stories. It's a fun and easy tool that helps us not only produce positive neurotransmitters in our brain through laughter and engaging our prefrontal cortex and dipping into our hippocampus for the memories of the stories, but also it is laying down new habits, a new way of behaving all throughout the day when life's inevitable wobbles come along and things are startling or surprising in a way that at first glance might seem to not bring joy. But with a little lighter hand or looked at from a different angle, we can often find the humor. And that is so helpful, not only at producing the positive neurotransmitters in our brain, but stopping the habit of chronically dosing our brain with cortisol and adrenaline and norepinephrine throughout the day, alert and vigilant neurotransmitters. So I invite you to play with Whoopsie Daisy Stories. And I have two. It's also a great social bonding tool. It's a very fun thing to do with friends. And so I've had two recent phone calls from OGs, the original gigglers, part of the small group that I have created a really neat, playful dynamic with and years of building connection. And so one of them called to tell me that, she was celebrating all sorts of wonderful things. She is a bright light, and she was having a yard sale and was selling a bedroom suite and had brought out the end table, but obviously not the whole suite, right? And so someone was asking about it, and she's like, oh, I have pictures of the whole thing here on my phone. And she goes to start flipping through the pictures, and then there's a picture of her butt. There's a backstory. She had been on a ropes course, like doing this great adventure, but she had ended up with a big bruise. So she had, in jest, texted her friend who encouraged her to do this ropes course and did it with her, oh, look what happened to me. So that's how it got in her phone. But she said she had this blanching moment when she's flipping through these pictures and realized, oh my Lord, I've just shown this woman a picture of my tuchus. And she immediately in her head clicked into, what a fantastic Whoopsie Daisy story. So even though she didn't react and she didn't start laughing necessarily in the moment, she could feel she held it all really lightly and was able to stay focused on the sale and this woman. And she said this woman was so nonchalant. I was like, show me more pictures. And so just her training her brain to see things through the lens of a whoopsie daisy, she didn't tighten up and create tension between herself and this other person. She was able to really hold it lightly. And then she had the added benefit of a good laugh, calling and telling me about it later, and her other friend. It's still going to bring me, who knew she was going to be showing nudie pics? Naked Nakerson. You just don't know. These whoopsie daisies happen. Oh, so funny. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's so funny. I'm trying to collect from that one to tell you the next one. Then the next one was another OG who's recently moved to Honduras to get her dive master license. So it's super exciting and thriving and wonderful and totally new world, new life. You know, she's got a Spanish tutor. She learning to speak Spanish more fluently and, you know, taking on this huge curriculum as well as continuing her coaching business and, you know, serving a lot of people. And she has picked out this beautiful apartment on the beach, so dreamy. But she kept hearing these rustling sounds. And then she was finding little droppings around. And she was a little bit like, I do not want to share this apartment with, coming from the United States, what she assumed to be a RAT. She assumed there was, in this lovely apartment, she's like, how can this be? But there must be one of these that's come to live here. And she invites a local over and is talking and said, you know, I just love this place except for this one little glitch. And they just start laughing. And they're like, oh, yeah, gringo from the States. That's gecko poop. And these cute gecko lizards that she'd seen scampering around on the tiles and just loved them because she was like, I'm in a tropical island living the island dream, and these cute geckos at her window. And then she realizes that she had, you know, just wasn't hip with the way of the world. And just laughed and laughed how just an old pathway in her brain and created like, gotta figure out this. And then she realized, oh, it's actually all part of the magic. So that was a really just a sweet reframe and wonderful Whoopsie Daisy story. Like, oh, Whoopsie Daisy. Totally logical. They look identical in their production, but gecko poop. Gecko poop. Just the words. Gecko poop. I just laughed and laughed when I heard that. I was like, who would have thought? Not something I run into here in Atlanta. Oh, that's just a little gecko poop on the porch. Sweep that aside and enjoy the cute little colorful creature. Far, far different than a New York, rodent of enormous size. Very different. Whoopsie daisy. Well, I hope that gives y'all some silly and light, easy everyday examples of how we can use Whoopsie Daisy stories to change our habits of thought. May today surprise and delight you. But first, let's pause for 3 solidarity breaths together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May today surprise and delight us. We are ready to receive all the wonderful things we've been imagining more and more every day. Thank you for this precious time. I'll see y'all tomorrow.